Welcome to the Deep Dive. So, you've given us some really fascinating sources today. They challenge, well, pretty much everything we think about empty space. The big question seems to be, what if space isn't empty? Like, at all? What if it's way more dynamic than we usually picture? Let's dive into that.
Yeah, it's a profound shift in thinking, really. We've spent centuries imagining space as, this absolute void, just nothing, a blank stage for reality. But the physics in these sources, it just shatters that illusion. We're definitely moving beyond the usual stuff.
Okay, let's get into it. The first sort of big idea from the sources is that the old view space as cold, dark, empty is just wrong. Quantum mechanics apparently shows it's more like a roiling, seething cauldron of energy, quantum foam.
Exactly, that's the quantum foam idea. But these sources push it further. It's not just random chaos down there. The really radical idea is that the quantum vacuum isn't just energetic foam, it's a substance. Think of it like a cosmic fluid filling absolutely everything.
A fluid, like water.
Well, yes and no. It's described as non-Newtonian, like that cornstarch and water mix. Under normal, gentle conditions, it's pliable, fluid. But hit it hard, apply stress, and bang, it instantly becomes rigid, almost like glass.
Okay, wow. So space itself can tense up.
In a way, yeah. This dynamic nature allows for what's called a superposition of space, meaning space isn't fixed, it can potentially exist in multiple states at once, much like quantum particles.
Right, okay, so if space is this dynamic fluid, what's actually driving that? What makes it flow and change?
Now that's where it gets really interesting. The engine, according to these ideas, is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
Uncertainty? I thought that was about, not being able to measure things perfectly.
It is, but it's deeper than just measurement limits. That inherent fuzziness of reality, the fact that you can't know exactly where something is and how fast it's moving simultaneously, that's not a bug, it's the feature. It is the source of the dynamism. That quantum uncertainty is what makes space fluid.
Whoa, so the fuzziness of quantum mechanics
directly powers the dynamic state of general relativity. It's a direct bridge between the very small and the very large. The quantum jitter is the space-time fluid in motion.
That's a lot to take in. So what about things in space, like an electron? Is it just floating in this fluid?
Nope, that's the other major leap. The electron isn't in the fluid. The electron is the fluid. It's presented as the fluid itself, but organized, like a stable vortex or a pattern.
A pattern.
Yeah, specifically a localized, self-sustaining, incredibly complex fractal knot in space-time. Its properties like charge and spin, they aren't separate things added to it, they're reflections of the knot's geometry. It's not made of smaller bits, it is the knot.
A knot in space-time itself.
Okay.
So, before the knots, before the jitter.
Yeah.
What was there? What's the baseline?
That's what these sources call zero infinite, or zero He, the fundamental ground state. But it's not nothing, it's not emptiness. Think of it as pure potential, undifferentiated. The fluid completely at rest.
Pure potential.
Exactly. And the universe, we see particles, forces, everything emerges when this state sort of observes itself. It unfolds its own potential, crystallizing into reality through this dynamic, self-referential process.
That's pretty far out there. Is there any connection to things we actually observe? Any evidence?
There are definite echoes and potential connections, things at the cutting edge of science, like, string theory talks about higher dimensions frothing, that could be this jitter, this fluid dynamic. We also see hints in, say, quark gluon plasma, that super hot state of matter,
right.
And the cosmic microwave background radiation, the leftover heat from the Big Bang. There are tiny fluctuations there. Even gravitational waves from merging black holes or the weirdness of quantum entanglement. They all seem to point towards a deeply interconnected dynamic reality. Research everywhere, from CERN to NASA, is adding pieces.
So the big picture here, this zero infinite idea, it's trying to offer a completely unified view.
That seems to be the goal. Space isn't just a container, it's everything. It's the stage, the actors, the script, even the author, all rolled into one. A single, dynamic, self-observing entity.
Right, a single entity.
Yeah.
So here's the final thought to leave you with. If space really is this single, interconnected quantum fluid, and everything, including you, me, all of us, if we're just patterns within it, what does that actually mean for our understanding of reality? And maybe even our place in it? Something to think about.